YouTube, and welcome back to my channel. I often get asked, how long does it take to learn Italian? How long did it take for you to get so fluent in Italian? Honestly, I will let you know when I feel 100% comfortable in Italian, when I feel like I have actually learned Italian, how long it took me. What I can tell you though is how long it takes to tell if you've turned a little bit into an Italian. Hello there, my name is Tia, and if you are new to my channel, this is just my little happy space, my vlog for Word Vomit, where I talk about my life in Italy as an American girl. And today I want to talk about kind of like reversed cultural shock and, you know, adopting the mannerisms of your host country, because I recently went back to America for a business trip. It was just a couple days. Like, I was in San Francisco for literally 2 days, and I can't tell you how many times I just caught myself laughing at myself and laughing at the situations around me, because I was so Italian. And it was the first time that I could see for myself that I was doing things that I never would have done before. So the first thing that I noticed, that I guess I've actually been doing for a while now, was the fact that, and I don't want to toot my own horn, but toot toot, I dressed really well, very effortlessly. I mean, this doesn't mean that I have naturally good fashion sense or I'm a naturally fashionable person, but living in Milan and living in Italy, where la bella figura and appearances are really important, I copy what I see other people doing around me. I don't know, it's what you do when you're in a new situation, when you're in a new environment. You copy what other people are doing around you to fit in well and blend in more with, you know, your new home. Living in the fashion capital of the world, I copy what other people do, and I can tell you that even though here in Milan, I always feel like I'm not dressed up enough or I'm not dressed well enough, the second that I leave Italy, it's like I'm one of the most fashionable people in the room. I'm just wearing the outfits and the accessories that I would see other people wear in Milan and copy them wearing in Milan. And so you know that you're turning into an Italian when you are the most fashionable person in that foreign group, or when you go outside of Italy and you are just put together, you are now Italian. Congratulations. It's not something you can think about, it's just something that you do. Another way that I knew that, oh my gosh, I'm getting kind of Italian, is the fact that when I hear about Italian food outside of Italy, I don't even consider it. Come on. We're not gonna eat pasta. We're not gonna go to an Italian restaurant here in San Francisco. I'm not gonna pay 25 euros, $25 for something that I could get back in Italy for 20, when it's probably not even gonna be as good here. It's not authentic. Quello lì non è vero italiano, you know? Like, of course, this doesn't mean that there aren't good Italian restaurants in America. There aren't authentic Italian restaurants that are even run by Italians outside of Italy, but you just have this feeling inside you that Italian food is better in Italy, and most of the times you're right. When I went to San Francisco, it's so funny because even for the business trip, they had a whole list of restaurants for us, and like half of them were Italian. I'm just like, nah, I can go eat some Thai food. I can go eat some like barbecue, but I'm not going out of my way to eat Italian outside of Italy. I don't trust them. It's probably not gonna be good. And that's such an Italian thing to do. I mean, when I was an American, I would love to eat fettuccine Alfredo, and pizza had a universal quality. If it was pizza, it was pizza, but now no. Pizza napoletana è una cosa che honestly, I've never even eaten a real pizza napoletana because I've never even been to Naples, so talking out of my. But yeah, I'm not gonna have like risotto alla milanese in America or anywhere else that's not Milan, because it's just weird. No? I felt really Italian, like snobbing Italian food outside of Italy. Kind of related, another way that I knew that I had turned into an Italian was the fact that I would be able to explain food and talk about food. I wouldn't talk about food in like the superficial way that I feel like we Americans do, like, oh, this is good, this is bad, I ate this here, I really like this. No. I was talking about how food was prepared, how it's prepared in Italy, how it should be served, and like ingredients and I prefer this and, you know, si fa così. And it's like, I never would have done that ever. And somehow these words were just coming out of me. I didn't even know where these words were coming from, but suddenly I was at a table eating food, talking about food, which was another thing that I always used to notice about Italians. I'm like, these guys are so obsessed with food that they literally talk about food while they're eating food. And here I was doing the same thing. Mind blown. I was pretty impressed with myself because I still don't think of myself as this foodie or this food expert or somebody that really cares. But somehow outside of Italy, I get this tiissima that I didn't even know existed was out here explaining to people how to make a matriciana. Related to both of these 2 points on food, because again, I wouldn't really be truly turning into an Italian if most of the things didn't revolve around food, is the fact that I knew wines. I'm at a point in my life now where it's not just red or white, but now there is secco and there is bubbly. And I know that you drink a red bubbly wine or a red frizzante with dolce. I know that a white bubbly wine is usually a prosecco, you know? And I know like that red wine goes with meat and white wine goes with fish. All these little things that before I didn't know. Look how cultured I am now, you guys. I'm 5 years. 5 years it took to get to this point. Finally, my last point on food, I guess we can say, is the fact that when I went back to America, I noticed that I was annoyed with the wait staff, which I never thought would have happened to me, you know? I noticed that every time I was speaking and I was deep into conversation, the waiter would just pop up and be like, is everything all right? And it's just like, yes, everything's all right, just like it was all right 5 minutes ago when you asked the same exact question. It's still all right. Can you stop coming to my table? I'm gonna tip you anyways because the tip is even included in the bill automatically, basically, now. Obviously didn't say anything. Obviously I smiled and was like, yes, in that fake little American way. But in my heart, I was just like, oh my God, these people are so annoying. And I don't want to say that I miss the rude Italian waiters. Just kidding. Not all Italian waiters are rude. I'm not going to say that I missed the complete inattentiveness that is characteristic of Italian wait staff, but I was kind of annoyed by the overly attentiveness of American wait staff, knowing that they're just being overly attentive so they can assure that they get a tip. And never thought that would happen. Now I'm Italian. The final Italian thing is kind of funny, but also kind of meh, because I always promised myself that I wouldn't adopt negative things of my new country, because you know, no country is perfect, and Italy has a lot of great things and positive things about its culture, and then other things about the culture that I'm just like, yeah, y'all can keep that. And one of the things that really annoys me in Italy is just like the complete disorganization and chaos of some really simple things. For example, waiting in line. For some reason, there's rarely a line to wait in. It's always like this big clusterfuck. And I'm so used to it by now that it's just automatic for me to go with the flow, and going with the flow will somehow sometimes cause you to cut people. I don't know. These things are all involuntary. These things just happen. I don't know why I'm doing them. I'll tell you the story. So I had 2 flights when I was going to San Francisco, and I was fortunate enough to be given business class tickets for these flights. And so for business class, you automatically go to the front of the line, which was what I did for my first flight. So my first flight out of Milan going to Munich was all Italians, you know, pretty much. And when I got to the line, they were calling business, and I just went straight to the front, and I didn't even think about it. There was no line. It's just they called business, so everybody from business went up, and then they would call everybody else, and then everybody else would go up. There was nothing to really think about. Then when I was going from Munich to San Francisco and most of the people on the plane were Americans, I did the same thing. Like I I knew that business would go first. Even though there was this long line, I knew that all of those people couldn't possibly be in business. And so I just went towards the front and I asked a question to the flight attendant to say like, okay, so here I am. Did you guys call? No, I asked. I said, did you guys call business yet? And she said, no, we haven't yet. So you just wait there. And so I stepped back instead of going to the end of the line, because like I said, not everybody was in business. I just like stepped back into the general area. There was no line. And then all of a sudden, like this American guy next to me just muttered under his voice about, oh, people think they're too good to wait in line. And I'm just like, in that moment, it was like complete deja vu. Is this what you would call deja vu? It was an outer body experience where I was like watching a film, because first of all, he's low-key right. He's low-key right. I did just cut the line. I cut the line. I thought nothing about it. And here I am standing in a general space instead of getting into a line. And also that is so American that he would be that salty and say something out loud about it. I was like, what is happening? We get past the security and we're walking into the plane now in that little tube thing that you walk through to get into the plane. And I kid you not, this American guy and his daughter literally ran around me, looked back at me and smiled to get on the plane first. And I was just like, so American. The competitiveness, the pettiness, the saltiness, like me, on the other hand, chill ass Italian, I was unbothered, didn't really care. Those are the things that I was like, oh my gosh. I looked back on my trip and I looked back on my mannerisms and I'm just like, Tia's this weird American Italian, but mostly Italian by now hybrid, doing all of these Italian things, low-key thinking she's Italian. No, I actually do not think I'm an Italian at all. I'm not one of those people that is like, oh, I want to be Italian. It's just when you live in another place for so long, you automatically adopt the mannerisms and the culture and the way of doing things of that place. One thing for, respect. I think if you move to a foreign country, you should integrate and adapt. But another part of it is just like automatic, because here in Italy, if you move like an American and you act like an American and you get offended over things that you would get offended for in America and you're just stuck to that American mindset, you will be mad all the time. So you also adapt these mannerisms to just live an easier, happier life. If you live like an Italian, chilled, going with the flow, you'll be much happier in Italy. I thought that it was just interesting, and yeah. So I want to hear from you guys in the comment section down below. If you live abroad, what are some of the things that you realize that you adopted from your host country, new country, home country? I don't know. The country in which you are a foreigner. What are some of the things that you adopted and mannerisms that you adopted? Let us know, because it's funny. Yeah, I think that's about it. I hope you guys found this video interesting. Remember to like and subscribe if you haven't already. As always, I will see you guys in my next one. Mwah.